one day I'm in the forest, the next day I'm picking pumpkins, the next day I'm down in Melbourne catching up with, the chefs in the restaurants. So there's always something new and it keeps you refreshed.
This is The Producers. I'm Dani Valent. Mark Foletta grew up on a farm near Benalla, a couple of hours from Melbourne, and ended up buying the farm next door to his parents. He runs a hugely diverse business with 10 products, everything from cherries to pumpkins to pine mushrooms, wine and livestock. Mark has a focus on regeneration, soil health and strong human connections, not just in his regional area, but also with prominent city chefs who use and appreciate the food he grows and forages. Sustainability isn't just about the environment, it's about the people who tend and benefit from its bounty.
No worries. Hi, I'm Mark Foletta. I'm a farmer just south of Benalla. My farm's called Yin Barun. It's actually Tungarung for good water. I've got a pretty mixed enterprise of cherries, grapes, produce wine, French heirloom pumpkins, forage a lot of pine mushrooms, smoking timber, and probably a bunch of other things. Grew up on the farm, and I suppose I spent up until about year 9 living on the farm before I moved to Melbourne. And yeah, it was great. It's the family farm's 1,200 acres, and used to roam around there and explore and ride through the vineyard, up into the mountain paddock, through the bush block. So yeah, growing up on the farm was fantastic to have so much space. And then it was a really, really interesting mix to move down to the city for 6 years and get kind of both sides of the environments, different environments.
Mark was only 25 when circumstance led him to buy a farm. He jumped in the deep end and had to start paddling hard straight away.
So it was definitely a journey. I ended up working over in California for the largest winery in the world as a grape taster. And when my visa expired, I ended up teaching skiing up in Canada, and I thought, this is great. I was travelling all around the world, and I came back to Australia, and Dad was always going, I need a hand on the farm. And also an opportunity with a cherry orchard came up next door to manage it. And so I started doing that. And sadly, the couple that were there became ill, and the property actually came on the market. Well, it didn't hit the market. I went, I'd be interested. I was 25 at the time. So what I thought would happen in my mid-30s, or kind of where I am now, got fast-forwarded, about 13 years. And I found myself buying a farm at 25 and was in a lot of debt, and really had to diversify my operation and really make things work. I tell you what, at first it was a big shock to the system after travelling around the world and having a lot of freedom to be stuck in a town where I think I went out to the pub in Benalla once and went, oh no, what am I doing? It was really hard to find like-minded people, but I persisted with it, and I opened my house up to a few people to rent, just to help with the repayments. And luckily enough, the first guy to walk through the door has become one of my best mates, and we even started a music festival together, and that's brought an amazing community of people out of the woodwork, and even encouraged people to move to the area, which is fantastic. So shout out to Bo. Thanks for all your support over the years.
Being a sustainable farmer can mean many different things. For Mark, it goes beyond the physical environment and expands into feeling good, settled and enriched in life.
As far as sustainability and focusing in farming, I think it goes beyond the farm, and it involves the community as well. So I think building a community, building a place that people kind of want to be at has been a really, I suppose, at the forefront of a lot of what I've done as well. So that's, for a long time, I saw people in Benalla they'd leave for Benalla, leave to Melbourne, leave overseas, and that was the way it was, especially when I first moved back to the farm. And I think that is changing. There is, or maybe I'm just getting older. There is a lot more people moving back, and more interested in the country lifestyle. When I first took over the farm, I went, look, I need to diversify into a bit more income. So I approached the family and leased the vineyard, and my father was pretty happy to release that to me, given the grapes were at an all-time low. And anyway, with that, I did all the work, got everything prepared, was pretty excited for my first crop, and the largest frost in the history of the vineyard came through and knocked everything out, including the cherries and all the grapes. So I kind of went, I really kind of need some cash flow, and I need to diversify and kind of future-proof myself from this. So I started growing a few various things and trying a few things out. One of the things that I did really discover was I used to pick pine mushrooms, and I thought, oh well, maybe there's a market for that, and that started off slow, but then opened up a whole lot of doors for supplying restaurants, and yeah, it's really shaped my business to come. So.
Generational farming often brings tensions between existing mindsets and new ideas. Mark explains how he brought his farmer father on the journey towards soil vitality, plant vigour and stock health without synthetic inputs.
One of the things we've really focused on the farm, and I've been lucky enough when I did move back to the farm, which was next door to, the farm I bought was next door to the family farm. My father said, like, I'd like you to, start making some more decisions here. And one of the first ones I said, we need to move away from synthetic inputs and have a organic nutrition mindset. And so for the last 10 years, we've done the whole farm, and so I basically used my horticultural background to grow pasture in a sense, but applied it to the orchard, the vineyard, and as well as the pasture and for the sheep and the cattle. And in the 10 years, we've been able to increase our soil carbon by almost 60%, and we've doubled the CEC, or the cation exchange capacity. So basically what that means is you basically doubled the fuel tank of the nutrient that the soil can hold. You see it in the quality of the produce, the health of the plants, the health of the stock and the animals. Also, I've been a bit savvy and sourced a lot of waste products around the area. There's an organic mushroom farm in Benalla, and when they have their spent mushroom compost, I'm able to get that as an extra input for growing the pumpkins. There's some great curbside green waste. So when you're throwing stuff in your green bin in Melbourne, it does get composted, and I use that as an input as well. Also, use a lot of. I really focus on plant health and the addition of trace elements. So it's like us. If we're healthy, we're less likely to get sick. So I think that's a much better journey when it comes to looking after your crops, after your trees, and after your stock. I had an agronomist come out to the farm, and they looked at and they said, "Oh, what have you sprayed the red-legged earth mites with?" And I said, "Well, no, we never sprayed. We didn't spray for red-legged earth mites." And what did you knock the capeweed out with? And it's like, no, just by putting things back into balance, we had great the right grasses start to grow. And when it comes to the orchard, look, my house is in the middle of the cherry orchard, so the last thing I want to be using is harsh chemicals. So I just use actually naturally occurring trichodermas, which is a product I was involved in developing and trialing back when I first took over the orchard, and that's just a natural microbe that it's like a fungus that outcompetes undesirable rots and mildews. So it's really been interesting to explore the different opportunities available and kind of marrying that in with the plant health. And you're working in this environment every day, so the inputs you use, you want it to be as safe as possible.
Running such a diverse farm means Mark is often very busy, but he's also able to step through the year according to the rhythms of various harvests. Nature even schedules him a month off.
Yeah, look, sometimes the head spins. I got an interview the other day and I said, I think I do about 8 things, and I think it's over 10. Now, last time I counted, but I think the way I've had time to shape how it works, and so that the year rolls along. Like I harvest the grapes. Well, I actually start off with almost a month off in January, where it's that quiet time where it's not too much to do. But then there's the grape harvest. That rolls into the pumpkin harvest, and that marries in really well with the pine mushroom foraging season, which can be short, can be long. It's all you're at the mercy of the elements. And then you've got the winter jobs, including pruning, and also at the end of the year we roll into cherry season. So I think while there's a lot of things happening, they seem to marry in, and I'm able to find space for everything.
Many farmers only bring 1 or 2 products to market. Mark outlines his product mix and some of the steps and misadventures along the way. In
the forest, I've got a licence with HBP to go in and commercially forage, and that area covers about 14,500 hectares, so that's a pretty big area for those listening. And there's plenty of mushrooms out there, but there's a lot of mushrooms that, in my opinion, are a bit past it. So in order to maintain the quality that I'm wanting to uphold, I walk past a lot of mushrooms to pick what I end up supplying. I started growing pumpkins about 10 years ago by mistake. I went down a line of trying to grow watermelons, actually with Bo, because he was keen to grow something. Anyway, we tried all these different watermelons, and it was a bit of a disaster, but we had a couple of pumpkins planted on the end of the row, and there were these beautiful old French heirloom pumpkins, and they just thrived. And anyway, having got my foot in the door with supplying pine mushrooms into a few venues, I tested the water to see if they were interested in pumpkins, and that's where the ball started rolling. But these pumpkins are imagine like a Cinderella pumpkin, and you cut them open, the most vibrant orange, and it's amazing to see the different ways that the chefs have created them. I've seen them pickled, sashimi style, made into sauces, put on scallops, slow roasted and had with barramundi, and they're like, I couldn't. There was, I think Steve, when he was at Estelle, had a famous dish called Benalla pumpkin guts, and where it used the whole pumpkin, including all the middle, and it it looked like a gutted pumpkin, but it was absolutely lovely. Some of the pumpkins almost have orbiting moons. They're that big. I picked one that was over 40 kilos this year, but sadly it had a split. But there's a lovely big 32 kilo one on display in the front section of Omnia. So Yeah, I definitely get a workout when it comes to harvest time in the pumpkin patch. The interesting thing about this particular variety, I'm very gentle when I harvest them. I've got a Persian rug that goes on the back of the ute, just so I don't put any dints or anything. Then I sun them off to harden the skins, and I've managed to age them for up to 15 months, and they're kind of like a wine. As they age, they get a more aromatic. The flavour becomes more intense, and but yeah, as long as you keep an eye on them, and keep them with plenty of airflow, they will keep.
Having a direct connection with chefs and restaurants is a huge part of Mark Foletta's daily joy and weekly rhythm. He explains how he first connected with Melbourne's top restaurants.
I used to be a ski instructor up at Mount Buller. I still sneak up there occasionally and commentate ski races, but I was there with one of my mates who was studying medicine, and he was there drinking a Bundy and Cola can, and I went, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, I poured him a glass of wine, and he said, "Oh, I've never had wine before," and anyway, he took one sip and poured it out. 3 months later, he dropped out of med, and anyway, he ended up being one of the top standing somms at Vue de Mon, and he's gone on to be one of the big wine personalities in Melbourne. So yeah, that's Matt Lamb for those of you who might know him. Anyway, through that, he actually introduced me to Steve Nahn. He was head chef at Vue de Mon about 12 years ago, and that's started a fantastic relationship. And I've worked with him through his time at Scott Pickett, and now he's running the show with the LK Group, and do a heap of business with Omnia and Eugen. And it's been such a fantastic experience working closely with the chefs and seeing these venues being built and being involved with the development of new and exciting products. I'm going back to talking about getting the cherries wiped out. Between Steve and I, we started looking at different fruit woods for smoking and cooking, and now the supply of cherry wood and chestnut wood has become a big part of my business. And look, I'm down in Melbourne delivering once a week usually, and it's just so amazing to see the produce that you put all your work into, and you're really proud of, to see the chefs receive it and they're excited about it, and to see what it turns into on the plate, and it's one of my favourite things is to when I'm down in Melbourne is to kind of explore all the different restaurants that I do supply, and take the time to see what the produce turns into.
It's crucial that young farmers work the land, but it can be hard for them to get traction for new ideas, not to mention land to implement them on. Mark shares his experience working alongside his father.
It has been a journey. I suppose that my father is a very successful farmer, and I wanted to forge my own path, and I wasn't always supported in that. And I think now that they have a greater understanding of the diversity that I've taken and the relationships that I've built down in Melbourne, they've realised that, hey, this has added a whole new dimension to the business. And but yeah, there was a bit of scepticism at first, but yeah, I think it's only taken me 10 years, but I think I've got them over the line. I was so lucky to have a father that's, well, I've still got him, but that was so progressive and open to new ideas. And I see other farmers my age that are kind of trying to get their foot in the door and make decisions, and there's a lot of closed-mindedness and a bit of resistance. But yeah, look, I think I've had a few discussions about the place, and hopefully that's slowly starting to change.
In June 2023, Mark Foletta was given a Farmer of the Year award for excellence in diversification and sustainability. What does that mean to him?
The award was for the Farmer of the Year awards. I won the award for excellence in diversity and sustainability. Two things I'm pretty passionate about. Also, the longest titled award, I think. There was 10 different winners throughout the country of various excellence or Farmer of the Year, Young Farmer of the Year. Funnily enough, the Young Farmer of the Year, Mitch McNabb, I used to teach skiing with, so that was a great surprise to see him again. But look, we went up to Parliament House and got to meet a fair few crew there. So hopefully it opens some doors to have a bit of influence and make some positive change. Look, I think I might have been on the tractor at the time, and I got this phone call, and Deb was like, "Oh, thanks for your application." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no worries." And just letting you know you've won. I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then I didn't realise that there was the award for diversity and sustainability, and it was actually this year. It used to be the award for diversity, and they've added sustainability. And I'm like, oh, this is like I said, two things I'm very passionate about, and they go hand in hand. So I'm absolutely stoked.
He's been awarded for diversification, and it seems Mark Foletta can't stop trying new things on his farm. He outlined some of the other projects he has on the go. Yeah,
there's a few other things that go on the farm. We run quite a closed herd, 150 Angus cattle, about 1,000 merino sheep, and a new venture that we're involved in at the moment, which is really exciting and kind of goes back into the utilising waste products, is a journey I've gone with a company called Gretel's. I'm a grower of an alpine gum, and it's we're growing this gum for the extraction of Pinus imbrum, and it's looking to have really good benefits in medical application and treatment of Alzheimer's, but also through this company, we're doing some fight food waste. So I'm taking grape mark, and we're extracting resveratrol and out of it, and also looking at it as an application to put it into cattle feed and fish feed, and incorporating the compounds that are in the gum trees. I almost said grapevines. To remove the use of antibiotics. So that's a pretty exciting space to be in.
With so many products on his slate, there's a huge range of tasks that Mark can turn his hand to. What does he love about what he does?
Look, I'd have to say the diversity, and I wake up, every day is different. I get my quiet time on the farm. One day I'm in the forest, the next day I'm picking pumpkins, the next day I'm down in Melbourne catching up with the chefs in the restaurants. So there's always something new, and it keeps you refreshed, and you're not just doing the same thing every day. I think also I really enjoy seeing people enjoy the produce that I produce. I'm really passionate about this space and people having a greater understanding of what goes on the farm, and let's do more of this.
To be awarded Farmer of the Year for his excellence in diversification and sustainability isn't just a pat on the back for Mark Foletta. It truly speaks to his passions and projects on his farm. Whether it's delivering a 40-kilo pumpkin into a top restaurant in Melbourne, watching a farmer's market customer in rapture as they bite into one of his cherries, or stepping quietly through a pine forest to choose the perfect mushroom, his work is rich in satisfaction, interest, and meaning. This is The Producers, a Deep in the Weeds production. I'm Dani Valent. Stay tuned as we talk to some of Australia's best farmers, makers and growers. Follow us on Instagram at Producers Podcast, or contact us via deepintheweeds.com.au.